Thank you, Ben. I'm Sarah Farmer. You're watching South Today. This lunchtime, the conclusion of the inquest into the death of a Reading head teacher. An inquest into the death of Reading head teacher Ruth Perry has found the Ofsted inspection of her school contributed to her suicide. Caversham Primary was downgraded from outstanding to inadequate over safeguarding concerns. The coroner said Mrs Perry's distress should have been clear to the lead inspector. Joe Campbell has been following the story for us and spent the morning at the inquest. Joe.
This is the day that Ruth Perry's death was officially linked to the inspection at Ofsted carried out at Caversham Primary in November last year. Now, Berkshire's coroner Heidi Connor said today that the inspection had lacked fairness, respect and sensitivity, all key words in the inspectorate's code of conduct. She said at times inspectors, in particular the lead inspector, had been rude and intimidating. She said that wasn't a personal criticism because those actions probably reflected the overall approach of his employer, Ofsted. Now, Mrs O'Connor said that in actual fact it was down to Parliament to decide what happened to inspections in the future. That, of course, is currently being debated by the Select Committee, but she said that MPs must balance the need to provide parents with a single one-word judgment and that clarity with the fact that that could cause great damage, as it had done in the case of Ruth Perry. Her family, who've been speaking in the last few minutes, have said that what's happened here today has validated their concerns about Ofsted. Ruth Perry had been head teacher at Caversham Primary School for 13 years when Ofsted carried out their inspection in November last year.
She came to see me the day after the inspection and it wasn't Ruth who walked through the door.
Part of the problem was the ban on sharing details about the visit. But a text message to former colleague Zeynep Stromfeld made its impact clear.
She was saying the result was not good and I am broken. I am not sleeping.
She thought she was going to lose her job. And she's the main breadwinner in the family. So for her it was that their plans and their future wasn't... It was so uncertain. And the last thing I said to her was I gave her a cuddle and a hug and I said, this is what family do, we love you, we're here for you. And I can't believe, I can't understand why she did what she did the next day. But I can tell you the day that it changed was the inspection day. The day her life changed irrevocably was inspection day.
The next day, Ruth Perry took her own life. As Ruth's family struggled with what had happened, her death was also affecting the wider community, especially her young pupils and their parents.
I've had some very difficult conversations with my daughter. She asked, we were eating together and she just said, are all my teachers going to die now? This had obviously been weighing on her mind.
For some, this had become education's Me Too moment. Ruth Perry's death, a cue for them to speak out.
We're due an Ofsted coming up soon, and I do live in fear because I've seen what has happened. I live in fear of being labelled. If it's not anything better than good, it does destroy you.
What started here has led to change in the inspection regime, but Ruth's family say real reform requires acceptance that things did go wrong.
This isn't just part of a standard review of Ofsted systems or whatever, but these changes are being brought in because what happened to Ruth should never, ever be allowed to happen again.
Ruth Perry's sister, Julia Waters, ending Joe Campbell's report.